apart.
Yeah.
So he was 20 and she was 15. Yep.
Hey, wait,
Put
he
his
was
ass in jail.
He was 20. Grandma Beckstead. Grandpa Beckstead was 20 and she was
15.
15.
When they met.
And what was she doing again? What was she?
Working
she
for
worked
what?
for a minister?
She kept house for a minister's family.
Okay, when she first came over here.
Yeah.
She
How
came over
long
here
was-
with her sisters or just by herself? I forgot. Or her mother.
She came. I don't know if her mother father came. I think her mother father came after she did.
Yeah, that's what I thought. She came over by herself.
She came over with Aunt Dolly and
Aunt Dolly.
Not
You
my
don't know
mom.
Aunt
No,
Dolly
the other
Duroma.
Aunt Dolly. Okay, Dolly Duroma. Oh, her friend then would have been her friend.
Dolly Duroma was her sister-in-law.
Oh, her sister-in-law. Okay, and then Grandpa
No,
Baxter.
Dolly was her sister.
Okay,
The other Roma-
and Grandpa Beckstead was already here from Germany,
Prussia.
Prussia,
Yeah.
Prussia.
and he was already here. And he already have the homestead up on Fifth Street?
Yeah, Grandpa Beckstead wasn't born in Prussia. He was born here. His grandfather was the first one that came from Prussia.
Okay.
And he had a son that was born here in Oswego. That was Frederick. And then Frederick had Grandpa Beckstead.
So
Wow.
Grandpa Beckstead was only the second generation in America.
Oh, okay. But he was here, and he was what? A vegetable? He worked on a vegetable stand.
He had the farm and used
He had
to
the
peddle
farm.
his produce in Oswego.
And he came up to Grandma Beckstead where? He met her where?
He met her at the church.
Okay. And
for
he
the
said,
parsonage.
what?
Took her for a buggy ride and said, I ain't got time to play games, want to get married. That's what Grandpa Beckstead, I remember that story. And Grandpa would be sitting behind the stove,
Yeah.
warming up.
Yep.
And she go, ain't that right?
Well,
And
Well-
he go, mm-hmm, yep.
Yeah.
That was about all I ever heard him say from behind the stove.
Yep.
he used to drive the
She spoke enough for both of them.
I know, that's right. Yep.
his grandfather, the first Beckstead, used to drive into the city with a cart and a horse.
Like
and
the
he'd
Amish now.
have a little drink along the way, here and there and here and there. By the time he was ready to come home, he was passed out and the horse would just drive home.
Oh my gosh.
Now,
Grandpa Beckstead?
Grandpa Beckstead
No,
had
Grandpa
livestock.
Beckstead's father.
Grandpa Beckstead's father. Grandpa Beckstead didn't drink at all, did he?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I didn't ever see any signs of either of them drinking.
They had livestock on that farm too, didn't
Yeah.
they? Do you know who owns the farm now?
It's run down,
Well, I know that,
right?
but
And
now Uncle
Aunt
Jim.
Lucille and Uncle Jim owned it. Last I knew,
Right.
and I don't know if
Well, they
ever-
sold
Stephen
part
was
of
like,
it.
you knew Stephen died, right?
Which one's
Steve.
Beaver?
Beaver.
Beaver died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 3 years ago.
More issues, family.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. He died at like
well, what's
must
the
have
other
been about
one's name?
49 or so, right? Or no, he must have been
What's the
3
other
years
one's name?
Mark and Misha.
He doesn't own it.
I don't know. I can't remember now. Maybe he did
They
get it.
go up to Uncle Jim's house and knock on the door and say, "Hey, are you a Beckstead?"
Well, they sold the house where Michelle used, or where Mark and Patty used to live. They
Wasn't
sold
that?
house.
Oh,
that was
that's
Aunt
right.
Dorothy's house, wasn't
Aunt Dorothy was there, and then they sold it.
Yeah, they
Lynn
sold
sold the
it? Wait a
house
minute.
to
Aunt
some.
Dorothy was married to Uncle William, Uncle Bill.
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, they lived right next door to Jim.
Yep. In between
Jim
the
Lucille.
farm and Aunt Lucille's. They lived in
I
between,
think Jim
right?
was closer.
They
Wait.
It was the
Aunt
farmhouse.
Lucille and Uncle Jim lived by the farm.
Okay, and then on the other
side
side.
of them was Bill
Yeah,
and
that's
Dorothy.
right. Okay.
See?
And they did sell that one. Yeah, because it was Aunt Dorothy. Lynn.
She gave it to Lynn. I don't know if they sold it.
But Lynn sold it. Lynn's like living in North Carolina most of the time. She comes up some
Who's
summers.
yeah.
Bill and Dorothy, Uncle Bill and Aunt Dorothy's daughter.
Oh, I don't
Their
think I
only
remember
child,
her.
right? Was no Lynn and
Lynn and Rick.
and Ricky.
I don't
You
remember
don't